Cruising Concepts. Visit us at cruisingconcepts.com. Add ease and elegance with quality custom accessories like grates and floorboards, cockpit tables, companionway doors, replacement windows, hatches, tables, and more. See a complete line of our products at cruisingconcepts.com.
Hi, Joe here again with another upgrade for my Catalina 30 from Cruising Concepts, the Companionway doors. And before I do the installation video, I go and install it into the boat, I thought I'd cover some of the specifics about the doors so that you can see what kind of quality you're going to get when you buy something from Cruising Concepts. First of all is the material used. You'll see that this material is 3/4 inch thick solid material. It's not a laminate. This is going to outlast the boat. Second, the hinges. You'll notice that the hinge here, I don't know if you can see that, but it's all been pre-drilled and the plugs have been supplied. So when I go to install this onto the boat, not only are the hinges going to be hidden, but every screw is also going to be hidden. It's really going to be look really good. The center strip here, unlike other models, is a solid 3/4 inch strip. So this isn't a rabbit. This is a solid strip. These doors, when they're installed, are going to be as good as my hatch boards. I just absolutely believe that. And then the last thing I want to talk about, which I'm really happy about, is the screens. My wife wanted screens. So if you notice, rather than having the screens come out and having the screens lay around all the time, and if you're like me, I'd be punching holes in them all the time. Where are the screens? I'd be worried about it. The screens stay in the doors, and the acrylic comes in and out. Now, one thing that kind of concerned me when I first saw this design was, what's going to happen if I get some leaks around the acrylic? Well, this is really, really great. If anything leaks in, there's a drain hole right here down on the bottom of the door. All the water will drain right out of the drain hole. So I'm just really excited to get my Companionway doors, and I can't wait to get them installed in the boat. This is going to be one of the best upgrades ever. See you at the boat when we do the installation. Well, today I'm going to be installing my new Companionway doors from Cruising Concepts. You'll notice I have the teak fascias. I'm going to be replacing them with these white plastic fascias. I have the white plastic doors. I put this piece of tape here to as a guide for where my old fascias were. Now you'll notice to remove them, there are no screws on the outside. I have screws on the inside, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side, and I will remove those screws. So I have the area where the old fascias were all cleaned off, and I'm using a clamp here to clamp the new fascias. Important to check the gap up here to make sure that the sliding hatch will work properly and fit, and I've checked that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a pilot hole, or just touch the fiberglass here, and then I'll remove the fascias and re-drill the holes to the appropriate depth, and the fascias will be installed, and we'll be on to installing the hinges. So now I have some beginner holes drilled, so I know exactly where I'm going to be drilling my other holes. What I did is I went over and I put a screw into the fascia, seated it all the way down, and then I took and I measured the depth that the screw comes out. I came over to the drill, I added the depth onto the drill bit with a little bit of blue painter's tape, and now I know exactly how deep I should be going into the boat to mount this fascias. Alright, the fascias are installed. I'll step back a little bit here without a problem. One thing I was really glad I did is I put the blue tape on, and what that did is as the silicone oozed out in places, it's on the tape now and it's not on the gel coat, so it just made it easy for cleanup. You might want to do that. Now let's talk about the plugs. System comes, or the setup comes with all these little plugs. Now there is a top and a bottom to the plug. So what I want you to do before you put the plugs in is make sure you take a look. There's I can't focus in on it, but you'll see that there's a finish side and then there's a cut side, and you want the finish side out. So take the time to get all your plugs set up before you go tapping them in. I'm just gonna, I have mine all set up. I can just take them and tap them in there, and when I'm done getting them all, I can't do it one-handed. When I get them done all in, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, fascias are installed. The plugs are installed. If you have big hands like me, one thing you might want to do is just tape the plug into place and then hammer over the tape. I found I couldn't hold it, so a little bit of tape, pounded it in, and as you can see, or can't see, all the screw holes are now hidden and the fascias are installed. Doors are next. So the doors are now in the groove, and I wanted to show you what it looks like from the inside. This is a small piece of shim material, probably a little over a 1/16 or a 1/16 of an inch, to give a little gap between the doors. I've got the doors clamped together, so now what I can do is I can go outside and hands-free, I can start marking where the hinges will go on the fascias. That's the next step. From the outside, here are the doors in place. Now, you want to make sure that you have an appropriate gap over here and over here, that you're equidistant within the area that the doors go. You want to make sure that you're flush up here. Pull the companionway door and check for squareness that way. Center the doors, and then you're ready to go on to the hinges. Now we're going to be putting the hinges on. We want to go 1 to 3 inches from the top of the door, so I'm electing to do 3 inches. I've got 3 inches measured down. I've got the block flush against the door. I'm now going to make marks right here and right here, which are the corner of the inside hinge. Now when I remove this, I can take this hinge, I can put it back in the appropriate place, I can mark for my drill holes, and I can mount my hinges. So on my fascias, I've got the hinge holes marked, top and bottom. I'm going to drill just the top hole and install and check for flushness. I've got the 7/64 inch drill bit, and I've marked it to 3/4 of an inch so I don't go beyond that. And now it's time to mount the inside of the hinges. All right, the hinge blocks are in. I placed them against the door. They come out nice and tight. So the next step is going to be to pre-drill, just mark these holes, and then we're going to drill them 5/8 inch deep, and the job is almost done. We still have to mount our padlock there, but otherwise it's looking real good, and it's coming along very easy. All right, I have all my holes pre-drilled. I've got the drill bit marked. I marked mine a 1/16 less than 5/8. Instructions say 5/8, and the doors are 3/4 inch thick, which leaves you a lot of room. But the last thing I want to do is put a hole through my brand new doors. So I'm going a 1/16 less than 5/8. I'm going to pre-drill my holes, then I'll mount my blocks, and we'll take a look. Now look at this. I got doors. It's flush on top, nice and neat there. Look at the doors open up. Open right up. I got my screens. Just went perfect. Shut the doors here. Oh, better get that cord out of there. And there I have a set of doors. Now I have to put the plugs in, and then I need to mount the clasp. And I'm done. Take off the paper and show you what it looks like. Well, even with having to film every step along the way, this job only took me 3 hours. I'm sure without having to film everything and with another set of hands, I would have been able to do this in under 2 hours. Somebody else holding the back of the door instead of having to clamp everything, it would have went a lot smoother for me. I love this upgrade. This is just fabulous. My wife is going to love the screens. I like the look of the doors. No need to varnish anymore. I'm done with the varnishing. Everything, I have to tell you, everything that came from Cruising Concepts was in separate bags, marked where it went. The screws, the plugs, the drill bits that you need are included. The bits to put the screws in are included. All you really need is a hammer, a drill, and a screwdriver to undo the things that you've done on your boat. I had flat blade screwdrivers on my 1977 Catalina 30. I love this upgrade. I'll be getting more from Cruising Concepts, that's for sure. I hope you think about getting some upgrades like this. Get your old boat looking new.